Actor Jonathan Majors is due in court next week, where he will face charges of assault and harassment from his quote unquote ex-girlfriend. He was arrested March 25th after police arrived and found minor injuries to the victim's head and neck area. Majors and his attorney are maintaining his innocence. So, if for y'all who don't know Jonathan Majors, I'm sure everybody does because he's been in a lot of movies lately. Jonathan Majors was in Creed 3. He was in Devotion. He was in Ant-Man and Wasp, The Five Bloods, The Harder They Fall. I mean, he's been in a lot. He's one of the fastest rising stars in Hollywood in today's age, right?
Yeah.
So here's just a little timeline of events, right? So this whole incident happened and everybody heard about it. And following this incident, text messages from the alleged victim was sent to Jonathan Majors, and they were stating, "I am sorry. I didn't want them to charge you. I told them it was my fault for grabbing your phone. I love you, blah, blah, blah." And then further investigations revealed that the alleged victim on a camera in a nightclub after the alleged assault occurred, which was later that same evening. So she's seen dancing and appearing fine. And she quoted like she had a broken finger, a hurt hand, hurt neck, and all that. And Jonathan Majors' lawyers are saying, look, her finger was fine, and she had no problem taking out the credit card, charging an $800 bottle of champagne. Guess who paid for that? Jonathan Majors, using his credit card, right? So all this is blowing up in his face. What do you think? What you think about this man, dude? Like, I'm starting to ask myself, like, is he done? Is he potentially blackballed? Is he going to be finished? Because he's already been canned from a couple upcoming movies and shows. He's been dropped by his management, Entertainment 360, and he's been dropped by his publicist, which is the lead company, Leedy company, in the latest turn of events. Because now more and more people are coming out. There's more and more alleged victims. Where there's one, others will follow. We know this. We see this all the time. What do you think about this, bro?
Well, first things first, man. We don't promote violence of women of any kind on Let Loose Podcast. Let's just get that out the way. But Jonathan Majors, it was said already that the lady apologized and saying that he didn't do this stuff. So if it's a false claim, shouldn't you charge the woman as well for a false claim? Isn't that something that's supposed to be happening? So somebody can claim that you did something or whatever with no evidence, and you can pick a fight and you can say that all these things happen, and you can go all the way.
You're supposed to go to jail for that.
And you can judge me through the media and through all these platforms, and I can get fired from this stuff or whatever. That's an allegation and no proof, but I have proof, like I thought it was supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, not the other way around.
Right.
And that's my biggest issue. And now you have all these people, all these women jumping on the bandwagon. Oh yeah, he did this to me too. He threw a cigarette butt at me too. He threw some water at me too. Yeah, that's assault. That's pain and suffering. I want all that stuff. Like, come on, man. This is a man that's graduated from Yale with a master's. Man, this man is top elite status. Like, I'm not saying that he didn't do this stuff or whatever, but if the young lady said that he didn't do it, y'all got to let all that stuff go. Now y'all got all these other allegations and stuff like that. That's the stuff that I don't like at all, man, about this society. Like, this man has already been proven guilty within the media. And this man haven't even been to court yet. He hasn't even been to court yet, bro. So that's gonna be my biggest issue on all this stuff, man. And like I say, man, I ride with him until the courts say differently. You know what I'm saying? Our video evidence says differently, bro. I'm gonna ride with this man for real, because there's so much stuff that goes on all the time, bro. And I don't believe in any abuse, any rape, all that stuff, whatever. You should go to jail for a very, very long time. Abuse, rape, those things, whatever, are no-nos for real for a man to hit a woman or do that stuff to a woman. But this stuff right here, man, for real, that's a fine line, because he's the only person with something to lose. If this stuff comes back, he's not guilty, what does she has to lose? And this man already lost everything.
He's losing money as it counts. He's losing jobs. He's losing work. management dropped by his publicist because of a few allegations, and he hasn't even had his day in court yet. So I feel you on the frustration there from that regard. But yeah, if she made this up, or the injuries didn't come from her and the police were there, and you specifically made up a story specifically to try to get him busted, I'm not saying that's what she did, but if she did, yeah, the answer to your question is yeah, you should go to jail for that. Exhibit A, Jussie Smollett. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's what happens when you do that shit. You know,
Exactly.
but whatever. It's always different when you're
It's so
brother.
tough, man. It's so tough with this stuff, bro. I just hate to see it.
And
like I said, and it's not even about the pending case. It's about all these people would have come now and say, yeah, he did this to me and he did this to me. It's like 10 other cases now pending on this man. Now it's starting to look like the Deshaun Watson case, for real. Like, this man is an animal, man. Get this man off the streets for real. So if something does go and this man gets freaking 2 years, like that's definitely over for this man. You feel me? Graduating from Yale with his master's in arts, and bro, this junk is crazy, man. For real. Like, get this man a fair shot, bro. He got to get a fair shot. But I think Hollywood gon' blackball him anyway, bro. Like, to answer your question, I feel like they're gonna do it, and they're already doing it already slowly.
So check this out. In a turning of events, so she had minor injuries to her head, neck area. Supposedly a finger was messed up. His lawyers are fighting, saying that seeing her on video dancing in the club, that she was fine. She didn't show no signs of this, no signs of that, blah, 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 right? But Majors and his team claimed that the injuries she sustained were not from Majors himself, but from when she was out that night or whatever. They just wasn't from him. But then they claimed that he found her the next morning with these injuries upon her waking up. So there's no way that the injuries could have possibly came from him, right? So, and all of this crazy shit, the woman texts him and she says, I'm sorry. I told them I didn't want them to charge you, but they know we fought, da, 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 da. So something physical happened. You know what I'm saying? Whether she grabbed his phone, he's grabbing it back, da, 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 da. That's what the text message is saying. Something happened. You know what I mean? What? That don't mean he hit her. That don't mean, he put his hands on her, choked her, strangulation. They arrested him for like that's crazy. But anyway, so, and then she texts him sorry, all this stuff. She tells him she loves him. And she says in her text messages right here, says, I know you got your team working on it. I'm doing everything I can in my part, blah, 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 blah. And then she turns right around and she got a restraining order against him. Like a couple weeks later, like, if you're sorry and that he didn't do nothing, why are you getting a temporary restraining order against this man? So are you trying to end him, or are you not? Because no matter what you're doing, you're messing with his money. If he's innocent in all this, if he's guilty, I hope he goes to jail. I hope he pays, and I hope the woman is taken care of. I don't want to see this shit happen to nobody. I don't want to see a woman. I don't want to see a woman get abused by any man. And I don't want to see a brother, if he's innocent, or anybody else, if they're innocent, fall victim in Hollywood and lose money and work for all the hard work he put in.
Over misunderstanding.
Over something like this. Exactly, man. So it's tough. But yeah, like, to answer my own question, is he finished? Like, who knows? I don't know. I don't think he's necessarily finished acting, period. But I think this in itself
the top
could
elite
halt him from being exactly a top elite dog, because he was well on his way to becoming like one of the highest paid, most successful actors like of the last like couple years, man. He's been in everything. Like, every time I turn around, there's a movie, I see him in a goddamn movie. Like, it's like, damn, dude, this too. My wife and I went through like a week span where we watched like 3 movies. Devotion. It was like Creed 3 was coming on. Didn't get to check that one out yet, but Creed 3 was about to watch that. And then there was another movie, the Ant-Man and shit. And he's in all of them. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I think he's in the Avengers too.
And that
Avengers
one, like,
too, I believe.
Taking no time off. I don't know if they're going to replace him, and that one specifically, but he's already been replaced in 2 of these upcoming movies. He's being replaced on another show. And a lot of the shit's by Disney. So it's like, Disney don't play around with that shit, man. Look what they just did to Johnny Depp when he went through that shit with Amber Heard. You know what I'm saying? And she got proved wrong, and she had to pay him. She was wrong. She got proved wrong in the court of law. Disney, before the case even happened, they fired him as Jack Sparrow. That's why he's not Jack Sparrow no more in these pirate
Right.
movies, man. You know, but before you knew anything, you were so quick to rush and judge to fire somebody before you ever had a day in court. And that's what's the problem with all these allegations. You know what I'm saying? Like, before they can get a chance to prove themselves, you're so quick to condemn people, man. And that's not right. You know, if they're wrong and they're guilty of something, it'll come out. They'll get what's coming to them. You got evidence against him, then that should have come out, and boom, you got him. But he's claiming, Jonathan Majors and his team's claiming that they got evidence, you know, a couple other things too, proving that his innocence. So I don't know, man. This is a very shitty, sticky situation, though, man.
And it is.
Like seeing shit like this, man. I really don't.
For real. More power to you, man. Sound like the mental stability is probably going to be a key issue in this stuff as well, because if she's switching stories and stuff like that or whatever, like how can you trust her story? You know, if she switches to one thing and this and going to get the restraining order, like I don't know what's the problem. You know, it's got to be it's three sides to the story. It's her side, his side, and the truth. So hopefully we can get to the truth.
That's facts. So y'all keep an eye out, because Jonathan Majors is going to court next week. So keep an eye out for the news on him, and let's hope for the best for both of their sakes and both of their well-beings. Absolutely.